Language is a virus from outer space, and hearing your name is better than seeing your face.
No bomb has ever fallen in my poems. True, there are people whom I've let die, or who've been left behind between the lines, and I won't bring them back. But honestly, no bomb has ever fallen in my poems. No bomb has ever fallen in my poems. True, the whole globe explodes with violence, or I test out how language holds its own when I send a friend a sign of life. But no bomb has ever fallen in my poems. No bomb has ever fallen in my poems, though I do my hopeless best trying to gather all my fragments together. The memory's not that good. The time is short. No bomb has ever fallen in my poems. And still, no bomb has fallen in my poems. I have no words for bomb. I do for scent, remembrances of landscape, time, or death. Touring by bike to the limits of my life. Should a bomb fall in a line of mine, that's the end.
Mein Gedicht kennt die Bombe nicht. Ich mühe mich verzweifelt, all meine Bruchstücke wieder zusammenzusetzen. Das Gedächtnis lässt nach, die Zeit vergeht. Mijn Gedicht kent die Bombe niet.
In mijn gedichten valt nog steeds geen bom. Voor bom heb ik geen woorden. Wel voor geur, herinnering aan landschap, tijd of dood. Een fietstocht op de rand van mijn bestaan. Valt ooit in een gedicht van mij een bom, dan is het uit.
Het gaat ook over de oorlog tegen de oorlog. Een hoop mensen hier weten niet, denk ik, dat in 1961 een brochure verscheen waarin stond wat je moest doen als er een atoombom viel. En daar stond in dat je dan onder de tafel moest gaan zitten. Een volgende oorlog zal in zijn beslissende stadium, als een van de partijen zijn ondergang ziet naderen, niet uitgevochten worden met A-bommen, niet met H-bommen, maar met kobalt- en neutronenbommen. Hier staat het woord al. Begeleid door de onbeschrijfelijkste chemische en bacteriologische wapens. Na het afwerpen van de laatste bom zal de oorlog nog eeuwenlang voortgaan, totdat de laatste mens met 2 hoofden en 3 benen in het stralende stof zinkt. Als het de bescherming bevolking op een realistische manier om het welzijn van de mensen ging, had ze alleen dit kunnen doen: 11 miljoen gifcapsules uitreiken, 1961, met een slok radioactief water in te nemen bij het uitbreken van de oorlog. Haar taak kan alleen zijn het doen uitbreken van die paniek onder de mensheid die de machthebbers hun wapens en redeneringen uit handen slaat. Voor alles moet de gereglementeerde voorbereiding van de ondergang, waarvan de zogenaamde bescherming een deel is, plaatsmaken voor een collectieve angstaanval. Een staking van de wereldbevolking, een massale demoralisatie en chaos waarin nu het enige behoud van het menselijk ras schuilt. Wie schetst onze verbazing dat in 1981 bleek, daar werd toen niet meer over gepraat destijds, dat precies diezelfde voorschriften nog steeds op de gemeentehuizen van alle Nederlandse gemeentes liggen, uit te reiken, door de televisie om te roepen als de oorlog uitbreekt. En vrijwel exact hetzelfde: als de atoombom valt, moet je onder de tafel gaan zitten. Het enige verschil is dat het nu voorlopig dienstgeheim is.
Is het een feit, is het een realiteit? Fuck it, laat je verbeelding spreken en spreken en spelen. Dansen doe je op een vulkaan. Er zijn laffere manieren om er tussenuit te gaan dan in het vechten om je rechten van embryo tot skelet. Om je vrijheid, je vrije woord, je vrije gedachten, je vrije gevoelens. Laat ze meespreken, de eigen ingeboren mogelijkheden. Het wonder heet vrede, het werkt en het leeft, nooit uitgestreden en altijd bereid. Nur für Verrückte, schreef Herman Hesse op de poort bij de ingang van het Magisch Theater. En nooit zal de dichter een leider kunnen zijn. Hij kan zijn lezers tot hiertoe en niet verder brengen. En dan moeten ze zelf in de afgrond springen. Het springen verleert, rups, slang, vlinder of adelaar, rompslomp, beul of martelaar. Kun je nog huilen, zingen, smeken, schreeuwen, bidden, juichen, lachen. Lach, juich, smeek, buf, schreeuw, zing en huil daarmee. Je vecht niet met de wapens van je tegenstander. Je vecht niet met de leugens en de vrees. Je vecht niet met programma's en richtlijnen. Je vecht niet met stelsels en recepten, regels en strategieën. Nee, je vecht niet tegen het zenuwvretend apparaat dat doordraait met het geweld. Met hol geweld op hol slaat. Achtervolgd door de angst van het niet meer weten. Van weten het, weet je het nog, vergeten. Het doodgemoedereerde, heel eenvoudige, zuivere en zekere weten. Dat het om de vrede gaat, die je verstand te boven gaat. Halverwege Hollanditis en eeuwig heimwee. Verkennen, verspieden en spoorzoeken. Toch tactieken en strategieën. Niet alleen improvisaties en situaties. Toeval en coïncidenties. Maar vergewissen en beslissen. Oorlog de wereld uit. Te beginnen in Nederland nu. Verboden te verbieden. War on war. The war game. The war on war game. The equivalent of your own... wat gebeurt er toch met die Amerikaanse dichters? Michael McClure, is hij hier? Is Diana de Prima hier? Zeg Ben, de hele organisatie loopt in de bloemetjes weg. Ja.
It didn't matter, for de Kooning was a carpstone from which he continued to paint with furious showers like a fountain. The light and the current is a symbol whose surfaces are so alive, partitioned among the clam diggers, only accidentally encased in bronze on the spinning continuum. When perfected, headed on another level. The carp, because it was a fish, was beyond financial worries. The spiritual purpose surrounding the unhappy Kurds who are spread over parts of the Hamptons under the name of abstract expressionists. In reality, tribal concerns get little attention, and again one could move or die even as effortlessly as some cowpeas. Holborn has, for the most part, demonstrated, high and relatively modest in this company, a splendid expression of the inner spirit, the Dragon Gate Cascade, a performance in which one could place the elegant concoctions called spreads of the tea ceremony, collages that touch upon the available land of the paradise garden. The water pours down onto a very elite group, effortlessly as the seasons pass through Niagara's most recent history, which carries a paradoxical sense of lyricism as the moon rises.
I want to read some poems of mine for you. I'm going to read for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And I want to read some poems for you in an invented language, a language that I call beast language, and a little bit of Chaucer will be thrown in too. I love to think of the red-purple rose in the darkness, cooled by the night. We are served by machines making satins of sounds. Each blot of sound is a bud or a star. Body eats bouquets of the ear's vista, gar, booty, eyes, ears, nose, deem thou, roer, vorna, garu, mi, nadrusirch, navi. The machines are too dull when we are lion poems that move and breathe when we grow. Handri Maikta Sharu Srila no Dimdes One Ethus Ro.
What kind of an artist are you anyway? You do nothing but hang around in bed all day watching TV. I don't need it, I don't want it, and you cheated me out of it. I don't need it, I don't want it, and you cheated me out of it. I don't need it, I don't want it. And anyway, you cheated me out of it. Take it to the limit one more time. You gotta make them come, 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 and then fake it for yourself. I want you to give it to me. I want you to give it to me. Because I need it. Making money and having a good time. Having a good time. Sheer pain, and I love it. The palace days. Take it away. You find it and give it everything you can. Tenderness, intimacy. I'm glad this one over. Poetry, politics, pragmatism, and friends. I never thought it would end up just turning a buck. And all I want is publicity, because at least it gives me a false feeling of being loved and sells books. And everything you thought you understood is a misunderstanding or completely wrong. Paralysis, fear, and deceit. I don't recommend to anyone to be alive, and I can't imagine anyone wanting to be alive except if they're completely deluded, and I don't recommend to anyone being born again anytime, anywhere, ever. You're only asking for trouble. And you're floating at the high water mark, and you already spent your whole life trying to stay afloat. Concentration, willpower, and endurance. I'm trying to get through it like you. And nobody told me what to do, and I took what I wanted. You just skidded out of control. You just skidded out of control. You just skidded out of control. The worst is at this moment happening. You hit a bank of snow. I'm a tough old fag, and I know what I'm talking about. We got a completely different situation. We got a completely different situation. John, it's time for defense.
They say, Space Maze, Madam Moon, Madam Maze, Space Curve. I don't say, I just play. Pause. Walkman! 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 They say everyone must work to earn a living. They say under capitalism, social relations take the form of objects. I don't say, I just play. Cause Walkman! Walkman! Walkman!
Over deze man zijn ontzettend veel verhalen te vertellen. Er is een heel boek met verhalen over hem verschenen. Ken Kesey, please.
Are you guys finished shooting pictures? Midnight. I just got back from China. I've had one day in the United States, and I've flown here. There's some people that believe that, you know, when you see those Turkish doors with the doorways that go like that, that's so you can slide through and it don't bump your auras. But they're not on the second floor because the aura can't get off the ground. So if you fly, your aura always comes in about 10 hours late. red-eyed and pissed off. And mine hasn't made it here yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So it's 12/12. Yesterday was Lennon's birthday. I want to read this because of that. What this story is really about is not so much John Lennon as about all the stuff his passing stirred up around my farm in Oregon, where I live. Both bygone and yet to be, tangible and chimerical. Mainly about these 3 visitations I had that week, like the 3 famous ghosts from the Christmas Carol. The first came the day before the killing, Sunday evening. We were waiting for my mom and Ed and Grandma Smith to come out for supper. This specter was the easiest to comprehend and deal with. In fact, he was almost classic in his immediate comprehensibility. There have probably been versions of this spook around since the first campfire. He poked his bearded kisser in out of the cold, all shaggily a-grin, with a bottle of screw-top Tokay in his right hand, a battered black book in his left, and a look in his gummy eyes that you could have canned and placed in the Bureau of Standards panhandle section. "Greetings the house," he called out through a curtain of phlegm. "This is Bible Bill, old Bible Bill, come in the name of the main Redeemer, praise him. Anybody home?" I didn't have to give it a second thought. "No," I said. "Ken, Cousin Kesey, greetings, greetings, brother, greetings." He held forth the good book and the bad wine. "Compliments of Bible Bill, these." "No," I repeated, pushing right on past the offerings. I put one hand on his chest and held the door open with the other, pushing. Behind him I could see an entourage of uncomfortable teenagers. "Ken, don't be like this. Ken, damn it all." He was getting a little hot. "I promised these kids." "No," I pushed. "Hey, fellas, come on," the teenagers said. "Can't you see you're bugging the man?" "But Ken, folks." "But my butt, let's go." With me pushing and them pulling, we moved him back to the Toyota he'd come in, him hollering, "But cousins, brothers, comrades," and me hollering back, "But no, no, no." The second visitation was a little more complex. For one thing, he was likable. He was about 35 or 40, like Bible Bill, with a lot of hard mileage in his eyes and scraggly hair on his face. But his hair was red and his eyes green and playful. And he said that he was called, no lie, John the Groupie, and that we had once met 15 years ago at the Trips Festival where I had given him something. "Besides," he added, trying to get that big red claw down in a hip pocket, "I got something here for you that I knew you'd want." This made me back off 2 steps. I didn't care how carefree his shrug or merry his eye. I had learned years before in Egypt, don't take nothing free, especially from ingratiating types who come on, "My friend, please accept this wonderful gift, my nation to yours, no charge," pressing into your palm a ratty little scarab carved out of a goat pellet or something, a little charmed hook by which the hustler can attach himself to you. And the less you want the goddamn thing he forces on you, the more he attaches. "I got right here," John the Groupie announced proudly, holding out a wad of white paper, "Chet Helms' phone number." I told him I had no need for Chet Helms' phone number, that I had never needed Chet Helms' phone number, even during his pedigreed family dog days, hadn't even seen Chet Helms in 10 years. John stepped closer, becoming intimate. "I don't mean this is his answering service, man," he made me to realize, delicately holding forth the little Chet like it might have been the finest Peruvian flake. "This is Chet Helms' home phone number." "No, no, no," I said. "I don't want to hear about it," I kept on. "All I want you to know is I'm offering warmth and sustenance and a way back to Venice Beach if I don't have to listen to you run any numbers on me. Savvy?" He put the paper back in his pocket. "I savvy like a motherfucker, man. Just point me to that out-of-sight abode." He was, like I say, likable. Just your basic, stringy, carrot-topped, still down and it still looks up to me, acid-head flower child gone to seed. When he wandered back up to the house, it was dark. We had finished supper and were on the other side of the house watching Monday Night Football. It was the Patriots against the Chargers, the fourth quarter. It was an important game to both teams as they fought for a playoff berth and a tense series of downs. Suddenly, Howard Cosell interrupted his colorful commentary and said a funny thing, apropos of nothing discernible on the screen. He said, "But we must remember, it's just a game." A very un-Howard Cosell-like thing to say, I thought, and I turned up the sound. After a few moments of silence, he announced over the play, action, fake unfolding on the field that John Lennon had been shot and killed outside his apartment in New York. I turned to see if John the groupie had heard the news. He had. He was twisted toward me in his seat, his mouth open. The last duck carcass stopped midway between tooth and table. We looked into each other's eyes across the room. Our roles fell away. No more the scowling landowner and the ingratiating tramp, but simply old allies, united in sudden hurt by the news of a mutual hero's death. We could have held each other and wept. The weather broke that night. It rained a little and then cleared. The sun sneaked through the overcast while we were having breakfast, looking a little embarrassed for the short hours it had been getting away with. We bundled John up and gave him a kneecap and drove him to the freeway. I let him off at the Cresswell ramp. We shook hands and I wished him good luck. He said not to worry, that he'd get a ride easy today. And I saw somebody stop for him before I got back across the overpass. On the way home, I heard a report on Switchboard, our local community access program, that there was no need to call and try to scam rides today, that everybody was picking up everybody today, everywhere. And when I got home, the phone was ringing. It was some guy from San Francisco who was trying to put together some kind of Lennon memorial in Golden Gate Park, and he needed some help. I thought he was calling to ask me to come speak or something, deliver a eulogy or something. I started saying that, sorry, I just couldn't make it. I had a fence to fix and kids' Christmas programs to attend and so forth. But he said, oh, no, that wasn't what he was wanting. That wasn't that kind of help. Well, what is it you need then? I asked. I need some organizational help, he said. I've never done anything like this before. I need to find out about permits and the like. So what I was wondering, if you might know how I could get in touch with Chet Helms, the guy that used to run the Family Dog and did all those concerts in the park. Have you got Chet Helms' number anywhere? The lesson learned from Bible Bill and his ilk is simple. I already had it pat. Don't encourage a bum. Attention is like Coke to them. The more they get, the more they want. The epiphany taught by the visitation of John the groupie is simple enough on the surface. Don't forget the magical season of love and the chilly season of Reagan. I think even John the Limey might have agreed with this interpretation. What complicates the lesson is that in its wake washes up the third apparition, the ghost of things to come. This visitor is still a mystery to me. I knew how to deal with Bible Bill. I know now how I should have dealt with John the groupie. But I still don't know what to do about my third phantasma, the ghost, I fear, of Christmases to come, Patrick the Punk. I don't know what to do about him. I know he's out there and on the rise. Babs and I went carousing this afternoon with old Hunter S. Thompson. We stopped a while at the Vets Club and we talked of Lennon and Patrick the Punk and this new legion of dangerous disappointeds. Thompson mused that he didn't understand why it was people like Lennon they were after instead of him. I mean, I've pissed off a lot of people in my time, the good doctor let us know. But you never disappointed them, I told him. You never promised world peace or universal love, did you? He admitted that he had not. We all admitted that it had been quite a while since any of us had spoken of such Pollyanna pie in the sky. And I know we all suspicioned silently while we sipped our drinks that maybe it was time to speak out again, crosshairs or no. Else how were we going to be able to look that bespectacled little Pullian in the eye again when the revolutionary roll is called up yonder? Thank you.
Er is niemand die echt zegt, ik wil oorlog. Als mensen oorlog willen, dan zijn het hele individuele mensen die op een hele moeilijke, wat ze dan noemen, criminele trip zijn. Of een vervelende trip of iets. Er is geen uitweg meer zien. Maar de oorlog, dat is gewoon de onwetendheid. Dat is de angst die heerst. En ik vind, als je oorlog aan de oorlog verklaart, dan is het de oorlog aan de angst. Waardoor Oost en West geregeerd worden. Waardoor wapens in de wereld komen en waardoor mensen zich denken inderdaad te verzekeren en zich steeds veiliger te stellen. Terwijl hoe meer wapens je aanschaft, hoe onveiliger het leven voor je wordt.
I learned a thing in jail, that the doves are stronger than the hawks. I was in a jail where there were 100 people, 50 of them black, 50 of them white. And there was a race riot about to foment in which everybody split, went to each side. And the hawks were yelling back and forth over the line, but the doves are talking back and forth over the line to each other. A white dove can talk to a black dove, right? So the forces of peace are stronger than the forces of war. The forces of war can't get it together by their nature. The forces of peace can.
Wij zijn heel erg blij met het bijzondere optreden van Jerry Cassia en Bob Wier, die op dit moment op tournee zijn in Europa en speciaal een dagje hiervoor vrijgemaakt hebben. Ik heb verder geen woorden meer. Jerry Cassia en Bob Wier.
I'm just gonna rap the lyrics to a couple of songs, you know. These fucking musicians play too loud, you never get to hear the lyrics anyway. So this is a song called I Want the Angel. I want the angel whose eyes are fatal. They cause a snake's milk to run and curdle. I want the angel whose darkness doubles. She absorbs the brilliance of all my troubles. I want the angel that will not shatter. Every time she whispers, girl, it doesn't matter. But I want the angel who's got the proof. She signals her devotion from the rails on the roof. I want the angel that comes to stay. She don't let lawyers and ambition lead her away. I want the angel whose eyes are raving, who takes what I give and not what I'm saving. I want the angel whose bones are so sharp that they could break through their own excuses. To be a blind man, that would be a fine thing. Then I could dream at night of a total stranger, and all the music would be so spaceless, and all the women would be so faceless. They'd be so faceless. They'd be like old film, just like old film I never got processed. I want the angel that knows the sky. She got virtue, got the parallel light in her eye. I want the angel that's partly lame. She filters clarity from her desperate shame. I want the angel that knows rejection. She's like a whore in love with her own reflection. I want the angel whose touch don't miss. Then the blood comes through the dropper like a thick red kiss. If I could break through, I would be certain. But this obsession is like some fiery curtain. And all the numbers reduced to zero. And those who die young, they are my heroes. They are my heroes. They took the walk where the heart makes sense and the mind can't talk. And I want the angel whose child don't weep. She got dreams designed for eternal sleep. I want the angel that will not change into a four-legged monster in love with the strange. I want the angel that never chooses, who don't come running back every time she loses. I just want the angel that never loses.
Christopher Glue, 12 years old, he fell from the roof on East June 9. Kathy was 11 when she pulled the plug, 26 reds and a bottle of wine. Finally got leukemia, 14 years old, he did got 55 when he died. He was a friend of mine, all the people who died. All the people who died, died. All the people who died, died. All the people who died. People getting charged that the gimmick's so right. They died of hepatitis in Upper Manhattan. Sky in Vietnam took a bullet in the head. Fabio Dino on the night that he was wed. Two are friends of mine, I miss them, they died. Other people who died, 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 died. Way down. Died. Other people who died. Other people who died, died.
Volgende nummer Amsterdam is getiteld Ziekenhuil en limousines. Je hoort wel, we worden nou pas echt subtiel. Bungalows steunen de bunkers. Een overhemd, de overrol, tennisschoenen. Principes is distributie van product. Een nieuw glazen oog. Het is zover, beslist de bul en niks nog zo schoon. Alleen vuile handen kunnen even gokken op een badplaats in het naseizoen. Gaan soms als eczeem om het huis. Golf op dinsdag. Het is een zwart-wit wereld. Ziekenhuil of limousines. Vanavond in de film zie je verhalen, cartoon en reclames voor de pauze. Je wordt een dun ijsje in de folderkamer. En de film staat uit de laatste drup uit je kast. Je loopt in een kaart van de stad. Schrijf een script voor je eigen nachtmerrie. Kies zelf je rol. Je breekt een regeltje, maar voert de bevelen uit. En vervelt op het bot. Wie bukt en buigt, weet God op zijn hand. Slurp, vet en plunder, volg het chemisch pad. Dit zijn onze jaren. Jij overleeft het wel, anderen niet. Deze wereld is zo opwindend. Luxe is het deksel op loopgraven. Er komt de tijd dat je je dromen verkoopt. Kies dan zelf je rol, ziekenhuil of limousines. Paradiso, dat de beginletters van ziekenhuil hetzelfde zijn als van Shell helpt, is natuurlijk puur toeval. En waarom dat toeval is, zal Kees Brussen binnenkort in een gloednieuw speersportje haarscherp uitleggen.
Lezen in de krant. Geruchten van een oorlog in
Onzucht, militarisme, corruptie, fascisme, destructie, oorlog, niet meer, nooit meer, nooit meer, nooit meer, oorlog, war against, war against, war against war, waar vechten ze voor? War against, war against, war against war, no more war, no more war, no more war, no more, no more, no more, no more war, no more war,
Me a face me reality. One little boy come blow him horn, and me look on him with scorn. When me realize how me fine boy Pickney was a victim of the tricks them call parties and politics. And me ban me belly and me ball, and me ban me belly and me ball. Lord, me can't believe it. Me say me can't believe it. My daughter boyfriend named me Sailor, and him pass through the port like a ship. More grand picnic for feed, but the whole of we need. What a night, what a plight, we can't get a bite. My life is a stiff fight and me can't believe it. Me say me can't believe it. Sitting on the corner with my friends talking about things and time. Me hear one voice say, who that? Me say, who that? Who say who that when me say who that? When you take a stock, them liquid down flat. Teeth start fly and big man start cry and me can't believe it. The other day me a pass one yard when me hear fire, fire to plate clot. Who dead? You dead? Who dead? Me dead? Who dead? Harry dead? Who dead? 11 dead? Whoa! Harry in street fire dip on me head and me can't believe it. Me say me can't believe it. Lord, me see some blackboard living in a one building, but no rent, no pay. So them can't stay. Lord, the oppressed and the dispossessed can't get no rest. What next? Take a trip from Kingston to Jamaica. Take 12 from a dozen and me see me mama in heaven. Madhouse. Me say me can't believe it. Me say me can't believe it. You believe it? How you fi believe it when you blind your eye to it? But me know you believe it, Lord. Me know you believe it. And finally, I would like to do a poem simply called Independent Intervention, and it puts forward the point of view which says that blacks are able and willing to wage their own struggles and can fight successfully, and we are not victims, and that we can fight and win. Make them go on, know it calm, but we who have to really ride the storm. Make them go on, know it calm, but we who have to really ride the storm. What a cheek, them think we meek, and we can't speak up for ourselves. What a cheek, them think we weak, and we can't stand up on our feet. But make them go on, know it calm, but we who have to really ride the storm. So make them go on, know it calm, but we who have to really ride the storm. The SWP can't set we free, the IMG can't do it for we. The Communist Party throw them to arty-farty, and the labor rights them now go fight for we rights. So make them go on, know it calm, and in the end is we who have to ride the storm. The CRE can't set we free, the TUC can't do it for we. The Liberal Party them is not very hearty, and the Tory Party enough for we party. So make them go on, know it calm, but we who have to really ride the storm. So make them go on, know it calm, and in the end is we who have to ride the storm. Good night.
As I was walking down Oxford Road, dressed in what they call the mode, I could hear them spinning all their smash hits at the mecca of the modern dance, the Ritz. The feet fox-trotted, the shoulders did the shimmy. The bouncer on the door said, gimme, gimme, gimme. I gave him the ticket, he gave me the shits. No healthy argument in the Ritz. So standing by the sick machine, who did I see? In Lorex and Terraline, she hypnotised me. I asked her name and she said, it's Salome Maloney, Queen of the Ritz. Got to remember the next verse, yeah. A man making like Fred Astaire, complete with spats and tails. A Douglas Fairbanks moustache, dirty fingernails, whose snide innuendo was as subtle as doublets. Waltzed off with Salome and his grubby little mitts. Now I'm standing in the damn rough light, trying to get pissed among the headlights, Whole Spice, brute and body mist. How can she be seen dead dancing with that dick? Her being Salome El Supremo of the Ritz. Tables flew, bottles broke, the bouncer shouted lumber. The dummy got too chummy in a Bing Crosby number. The bouncer said, it's suicide trying to get your mitts, son Salome Maloney, Queen of the Ritz. And when the ambulances came, she was laying on the deck. She'd fell off her stiletto wheels and broke her fucking neck. The band threw down their instruments, the management threw fits, so she's dead. She don't bring the business to the Ritz. The only over 21's night said it was a shame. The divorcee club will never be the same. Joe Loss killed himself and Vic Sylvester quit since the death dance drama did away with the Ritz.
Can you all hear me? Good. I nominate for the most flatly disgusting passages in current fiction the typical interview between the young intelligence operative and his chief. When Peter walked into the office, the chief smiled. Young agents have been known to get frostbite from the chief's smile. Peter knew he was in the presence of greatness. He squirmed with the schmaltz of it and broke out fulsomely. I'm just beginning to realize what a cold-hearted bastard you are. The chief was pleased, and he couldn't help squirming a little, but his voice was cool. Well, that's one way of putting it. I call it staying on top of an op. The casualties could run into the millions, the billions, Peter, the billions. The chief spreads his hands and smiles. Outsiders, none of our people will be touched. Operation Bunker. How long? Long enough for things to cool down, then we emerge like the phoenix, without, of course, the inconvenience of being burned. Peter squirmed deliciously. This was true greatness. You can't fake the real thing. You are a cold-hearted bastard, he ejaculated. Any trouble with a cracker, boy? Not a peep. I gave him the old white schmaltz right down the line like you told me. What are you doing over there with the niggers and the apes? Why don't you come over here where you belong and act like a white man? And how's the darky shaping up? Always a place in the bunker for the right kind of darky. He swallowed that, I thought he would. Well, as one menstruating cunt said to the other, it's in the rag, Mary. The chief smiles slow and dirty. Kim detests intelligence operatives, as they call themselves, and intelligence people in general. If a man is going to roll in atrocities like a dog rolls in carrion, he should at least be dog enough to assume the responsibility and not hide himself behind a flag and the nauseous pretext of national security. Introducing Kim Carson. hero of a novel in progress entitled The Place of Dead Rose. Kim is a morbid, slimy youth of unwholesome proclivities with an insatiable appetite for the extreme and the sensational. Kim remembers his first adolescent experiment with biologic warfare. Smallpox was the instrument. The town of Jehovah across the river his target. Their horrid church absolutely spoiled his sunsets, with its gilded spires sticking up like an unwanted erection. And Kim vowed he would see it leveled to the ground. It was dead easy. The townspeople were anti-vaccination. Polluting the blood of Christ, they called it. Around the turn of the century, there were a number of these anti-vaccination cults. It was a self-limiting phenomena since all the cultists contracted smallpox sooner or later. So Kim simply jogged the arm of destiny, you might say, by distributing free illustrated Bibles impregnated with smallpox virus to the townspeople of Jehovah. The survivors moved out. Kim bought the land and used the church to test his homemade flamethrower. He'd found the plan in boy's life. A weed killer, they called it. Well, rotten weeds, you know. Kim recruits a band of flamboyant and picturesque outlaws known as the Wild Fruits. There's the crying gun who breaks into tears at sight of his opponent. What's the matter? Somebody take your lollipop? Oh, senor, I am sorry for you. And the priest who goes into a gunfight giving his adversary the last rites. And the blind gun who zeroes in with bat squeaks. And the famous shitting sheriff turned outlaw. At sight of his opponent, he turned green with fear and sometimes loses control of his bowels. Well, there's an old adage in showbiz. The worse the stage fright, the better the performance. Kim makes the grand tour. Kim disliked England at first sight. The porters and hotel clerks were deferring to his clothes and his luggage. He soon saw that the whole pestiferous area is run on class categories. The most important category is manner and accent. If you have the manner and the accent, you can be wearing a burlap sack, and the funkers will still stand to attention like one of Pavlov's dogs salivating at the sound of his master's voice. They know their place. What hope for a country where people know their place? What hope for a country where people will camp out for 3 days to glimpse the royal couple? Where one store clerk refers to another store clerk as his colleague. My God. Licensing laws left over from World War I. Sorry, sir, the bar is closed. And you know he is just delighted to tell you the bar is closed. God save the Queen and a fascist regime. A flabby, toothless fascism, to be sure. Never go too far in any direction is the basic law on which Limey Land is built. The Queen stabilizes the whole sinking shithouse and keeps a small elite of wealth and privilege on top. And talk about licking the hand that takes the food out of your mouth. What Englishman has not seen himself having tea with a queen? Oh, quite at ease, you know. And taking liberties she will just love, like calling her love. Or she'd just love that, wouldn't she now? The English have gone soft in the outhouse. England is like some stricken beast, too stupid to know it is dead, ingloriously foundering in its own waste products, the backlash and bad karma of empire. You see what we Americans owe to George Washington and the Valley Forge boys for getting us out from under this den of snobbery and accent. This latter, where everyone stomps discreetly on the hands below him. Pardon me, old chap, but aren't you getting just a bit ahead of yourself in rather an offensive manner? Only thing gets Homo sapiens up off his dead ass is a foot up it. The English thing worked too well and too long. They'll never get all that ballast of unearned privilege into space. Who wants that dumped in his vicinity? They get out of a spaceship and start looking about desperately for inferiors. The end of Dead Road. Suppose the backdrop of reality, what you see out there and assume to be real, streets, people, trees, hills, the sky, was suddenly ripped wide open. The sheltering sky is thin as paper here. That afternoon when I watched the torn sky bend with the wind, I can see it start to tilt and shred and tatter. Caught in New York beneath the animals of the village, the piper pulled down the sky. Closing time, gentlemen. Brian Geisen has an all-purpose bedtime story. It seems that trillions of years ago, a giant flicked grease from his fingers. One of these gobs of grease is our universe on its way to the floor. Splat. Thank you. Thank you.
On your free day, all your friends have gone to find a change of pace again, leaving you alone. To talk to your own face again. So what else is new? There's nothing new to say, nothing new to do. So you phone someone you don't really want to see, but they understand. They'll just let you be. The hollow man you are. If you want to, another place, and as usual, about halfway there you don't wanna go anywhere anymore. No, 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 no. Just wanna go home again. So, what else is new? Nothing could be better than oblivion. Can I have it now? Let me have it now. Need to have it now. Can I have it? On this free day, on this free day.